1,000 acid batteries that have been declared scrapped in Pakistan, where the industry is relatively backward, are basically renovated and repaired. It is not that new ones are unaffordable, but repairs are more cost-effective. Damage to this kind of hydrogen acid battery must be caused by a problem with the internal ridge plate. First, the master needs to recycle the internal failed electrolyte and then disassemble the battery cover to facilitate inspection of the internally damaged ridge plate. During the disassembly process, the skilled craftsman quickly removed the battery cover and then removed the spine. It was very easy to remove all the spine. Each set of spine plates is disassembled. The positive spine plates inside these spine plates are basically scrap. The active substances on the surface of the spine plates have all fallen off. The labor cost this time is still 2,000 rupees. It is definitely impossible to buy a brand new spine plate. The masters will use these recycled ridge plates to renovate and purify the debris into lead powder that can be used normally. They need to use high fire to heat and high temperature to clean out the internal impurities. When the original black ridge plate debris has turned khaki, next, the masters only need to grind the lead powder of different sizes into powder through a grinder. After the lead powder is heated to high temperature, the dense chemical elements doped with it will evaporate, and the ground lead powder will then be used by the masters. Use a mixer to stir carefully, add a variety of dense chemical raw materials, and after gradual stirring, they will then apply a 1,000-gauge scraper onto the swing grid of the electrode plate. This process is relatively simple and requires experienced masters. Scrape and coat the sign height evenly on the mountain. In order to improve the labor between the sign height and swinging the mountain, the scraping and coating are good. Although the equipment they use is relatively simple, the production efficiency of the pole plates is not satisfied at all. There will be moisture inside these pole plates. There is no high-end drying room in the small workshop, so the craftsmen directly put the plates on the roof to dry them using free sunlight. This drying process only takes more than 3 hours to dry the plates. The purpose of this is to allow the solution to react chemically with the spine plates and activate these brand new spine plates after being soaked for up to 40 minutes. The spine board is finally finished. The next step is to assemble these spine boards into a whole. Before assembly, the masters need to use scissors to trim the spines of different sizes on the head of the spine board to a standard pattern. The purpose of this is to facilitate the follow-up. For these reused negative plates, the spine of the head has been cut out, and the master will polish the head until it is rough for subsequent welding of the new spine. The material they use in the welding process is the melted shallow water in the small workshop. There is no special mold inside. We can just use the feeling to weld. During this period, the master on one side glues the uneven spine of the completed negative plate. In this way, you need to use scissors to trim the spine to the right position. With very fast hand speed, the remaining position of the spine has been cut very quickly. Then you can assemble the auxiliary spine board and the main spine board together. The main spine board has been sorted and assembled. With this, the splicing process progresses very quickly. The internal white spines are assembled. The internal spines are welded together by the master through a special welding mold. In order to improve the firmness between the spines, Fu also needs to use a high-power soldering iron to weld the processed spine plates, and then the masters can install them into the battery case. Between the 6 sets of spine plates, they will be welded in series. Are there any masters who can explain why they are connected in series instead of parallel? After welding the spine between the spine plates, you can then install the battery upper cover, and then use a high-power soldering iron to weld the battery pile head base to facilitate subsequent gluing of the new pile head. The flat base will be done with a staggered knife. After the carefully polished surface becomes rough, the splicing point between the battery cover and the battery shell will be used. The master will use a free plastic strip to pass through the gap and heat the iron sheet to 99 degrees. A simple method can make the battery shell very strong. Experienced masters can use the wire short circuit to test the oil sparks to ensure that there is no problem with the battery. What do you think of the repair skills of the masters?